You know that moment in a workout, that one where maybe your muscles feel okay, they're still game, but your lungs, they feel like they're just staging a full-blown rebellion. You're gasping, struggling, and suddenly the limiting factor isn't your strength or, your speed, but simply how you're breathing. We often treat breathing as just automatic, something that just happens, especially when we exercise. But what if that seemingly automatic process holds the key, like the key to unlocking a whole new level of performance, endurance, and maybe even recovery? Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to plunge right into that question. We're exploring a genuinely novel, structured approach to breathing during exercise. It's a technique specifically designed to not just enhance efficiency and boost your endurance, but to really speed up your recovery. It could actually transform how you experience your workouts. Our journey today is guided by this really insightful paper. It's titled IsoTone Asymmetric Breathing for Endurance Training. And what makes this research particularly interesting is that its author, Dr. Neymotin, isn't just a brilliant researcher, he's also the innovator behind the isotone device itself. So that means his work offers this unique practical framework. It directly connects the science, the theory, with real-world application, especially for those of you maybe using the isotone already.
Exactly. And what Dr. Neymotin's work really shows us is that this isn't about just, breathing harder when you push yourself, which, let's be honest, is often what we do, right? It's kind of our default. Instead, it's about breathing smarter. It's a structured framework to harness your body's natural rhythms. This allows you to optimize performance, and it's especially powerful when you pair it with the isotone device.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive seems pretty clear then. We're going to unpack the scientific thinking behind this technique. We'll try to understand how the isotone device makes it uniquely applicable, and most importantly, discover how you can apply the structured breathing across every phase of your workout, warm up, the tough part, cool down, to truly optimize your exercise experience. Okay, let's start by unraveling this connection. Maybe let's begin with a seemingly simple question. When was the last time you consciously thought about how you breathe? It feels so basic, right? So ingrained that we rarely give it a second thought. But what if there's a profound, maybe hidden power in consciously recognizing and aligning with that natural rhythm, especially when you're pushing your physical limits?
That's a really critical point to think about, because the fundamental concept Dr. Neymotin emphasizes is that breathing, really at its core, is an asymmetric process, inherently so. Think about it for a second. When you inhale, it's typically active, it's quicker, it's a more forceful action. Your diaphragm contracts, your chest expands, you pull the air in. It's all about rapidly meeting your body's immediate need for oxygen. Now, contrast that with exhaling. That's usually longer, it's slower, much more controlled. Often it relies on passive recoil before you maybe actively push the last bit of air out. This isn't random. This natural asymmetry ensures we can rapidly take in that vital oxygen, while also giving our body enough time to efficiently expel carbon dioxide, which is crucial, absolutely crucial for maintaining blood pH, preventing that buildup of metabolic waste like lactic acid. What's particularly insightful from the research is that this physiological balance, this distinct rhythm, it doesn't just disappear when you're exercising intensely. It's still there.
Yeah.
And leveraging it becomes really important.
That makes perfect sense. Our body has this built-in, highly efficient system. But what happens when we ignore that rhythm, when our breathing gets frantic, shallow, or just, uncoordinated during exercise? We've all been there, haven't we? Hit that wall, lungs burning, feeling like you're kind of drowning in air.
Absolutely. When your breathing's uncoordinated, it's like, trying to row a boat with oars going every which way. Use massive energy just to stay afloat, basically. The consequences are immediate: discomfort, less efficient gas exchange in your lungs, meaning, you're not getting enough oxygen in or clearing enough CO2 out. And inevitably, you hit fatigue sooner, premature fatigue. Your body's literally starving for oxygen and struggling with that waste buildup. But Dr. Neymotin's research really lights up the powerful inverse: structured breathing. By intentionally aligning with your body's natural asymmetry, you stabilize what's called alveolar ventilation. Now, this isn't just air exchange. It's the precise orchestration of air delivery to those tiny air sacs in your lungs, the alveoli, where oxygen actually jumps into your bloodstream. Stabilizing this process prevents premature hyperventilation, where you blow off too much CO2, feel dizzy, and crucially, it significantly improves your overall endurance. It's about pushing back that lactic acid threshold, maintaining your peak power for longer, and delaying that whole body fatigue.
Wow, that's a really powerful connection between something we totally take for granted and our actual performance. And this brings us right to the isotone device itself. It's light, portable, resistance, but it has this very distinctive feature. auto-adjusting resistance. How does this specific design characteristic, this clever piece of engineering, make it uniquely suited to developing and maintaining this kind of structured breathing technique?
Yeah, the isotone's auto-adjusting resistance is really the catalyst here. It's kind of the secret sauce. Unlike traditional resistance tools like, say, static weights or elastic bands, where the resistance is fixed and your movement speed often dictates the intensity, the isotone adapts instantly, fluidly. It matches your exact applied force. This is absolutely key because it means the frequency of your exercise cycles, how quickly you do a squeeze and expand movement, can stay stable. You're not forced to speed up your movements to increase intensity. Instead, you build strength and endurance by gradually increasing the force you apply against that adaptive resistance. This intelligent, adaptive nature creates an ideal, consistent foundation for synchronizing your breath with your movement. It lets you train your breath and muscles in perfect harmony.
So it's less about the speed of the rep, more about the power behind. That's fascinating in itself. And with that unique capability of the isotone, we get to the core of the technique, the IsoTone Asymmetric Breathing Technique, or IABT. You said it's simple, almost like a mantra for workouts. How would you define its guiding principle?
Its principle is remarkably straightforward. And, like we discussed, it directly mirrors our body's natural physiological breathing pattern. For the squeeze phase, that's the compression of the isotone movement, you do a quick, sharp inhale. Then, for the expand phase, the return movement, you execute a slow, prolonged exhale. The memorable mantra, the phrase that makes it incredibly easy to adopt, is just in on squeeze, out on expand. This immediate, direct alignment with how your body naturally wants to breathe makes it super intuitive for anyone, really, regardless of fitness level, to integrate into their training.
In on squeeze, out on expand. Okay, yeah, that's easy to remember. Now, let's take this guiding principle and see how IABT actually transforms a workout across its different phases. Because this isn't just for one specific moment of effort, right? It's designed for continuous integration. It becomes a seamless part of the entire routine. So let's start right at the beginning, the warm-up phase. How does establishing this technique right from the start set the stage?
Right. During the warm-up with isotone, the resistance starts low, obviously. But the core breathing pattern, that quick inhale during squeeze, slow exhale during expand, remains absolutely constant. And this is fundamentally important because it establishes a consistent, controlled rhythm right from the very outset. Instead of the often erratic, spontaneous, maybe inefficient breathing that can happen in a typical warm-up, IABT immediately primes your body and your lungs. It's like setting the perfect cadence for that rowboat before you even leave the dock. Take the isotone high press exercise as an example. You stand tall, isotone above your head, doing light squeeze expand cycles. From the very first movement, you establish that short, sharp inhale on the squeeze and the long, controlled exhale on the expand. The real uniqueness here is that this stable rhythm is locked in from the get-go. It sets a foundation for efficiency that just carries through the whole session.
That's brilliant. So you're not just warming up your muscles, you're kind of harmonizing your entire system from minute one. Okay, now let's move into the heart of the session, the strenuous aerobic phase. As the effort ramps up, as you push harder, what happens with IABT? Does the rhythm change, or how does it adapt?
This is where the magic truly happens, and it leverages isotone's adaptive resistance just perfectly. As the session intensifies, users increase their applied force against the isotone, remember, not the movement frequency. What's fascinating is that while your breathing naturally gets deeper to meet the higher metabolic demand, that established rhythm of in on squeeze, out on expand does not change. It stays consistent. This unwavering consistency leads to highly efficient oxygen intake and really controlled carbon dioxide clearance. It pushes back that lactic acid threshold, letting you maintain peak power output for significantly longer without that premature hyperventilation kicking in. And here's a subtle but quite powerful nuance Dr. Neymotin's research notes. At maximum exertion, you can even integrate a mini breath cycle. It's like a shallow inhale and exhale between the main isotone movements. This gives you a quick oxygen boost without messing up the primary rhythm.
Oh, interesting, like a little top-up breath.
Exactly. So for that isotone high press exercise, again, in its strenuous phase, you increase your squeeze force. Then you expand explosively. You inhale sharply during the squeeze, exhale fully during the expand, and right at peak intensity, you can add that little shallow mini cycle if needed. The true genius here is that your optimal breathing frequency stays steady despite incredibly high effort. It actively delays the onset of that systemic fatigue and lets you extend your performance.
So it's really about depth and power, not just speed and frantic gasping. That must feel fundamentally different during intense effort. And finally, let's talk about the cool down phase. How does IABT contribute to recovery at the end of a tough workout? What's the difference compared to, say, traditional methods?
Well, as the resistance gradually decreases during the cool down, your breathing stays perfectly synchronized with the movements. You maintain the pattern. This controlled, deliberate synchronization leads to remarkably rapid recovery. Users often report returning to normal breathing within just seconds, feeling refreshed, actually, rather than drained. If you think about the bigger picture, this is a stark contrast to traditional workouts where athletes often finish just breathless, right? Slumped over, gasping for air. IABT, by maintaining that controlled, synchronized breathing, produces this really controlled, almost exhilarating completion of the exercise, not one that leaves you utterly wiped out and struggling for breath. Exhilarating, that's a strong word for a cool down. It can feel that way. So for the isotone high press cool down, you simply decrease your force, keep those smooth squeeze and expand transitions going, continue the rhythm, and you just allow the depth of your breath to naturally reduce. Your recovery is almost immediate. You sidestep that prolonged post-exercise panting, and you finish feeling strong and in control.
That sounds like a profound shift from ending a workout feeling totally depleted to feeling invigorated. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Is this technique just for elite athletes pushing the absolute limits, or can anyone really benefit from structured breathing with the isotone device?
This is perhaps one of the most compelling things about IABT. Its remarkably broad applicability. It's really for almost anyone. For fitness and sports enthusiasts, yes, athletes can absolutely maximize their endurance, reduce fatigue. By maintaining that efficient gas exchange, they can sustain higher power outputs, prolong workouts, without that big spike in breathing rate, ultimately leading to better performance, maybe hitting new personal bests. Imagine a cyclist holding a consistent power output for way longer, or maybe a climber preserving group strength by clearing those metabolic byproducts efficiently. These are direct, tangible benefits.
Right, real performance gains.
Definitely. Then think about physical therapy and rehabilitation. IABT provides invaluable structure and, importantly, confidence. For someone recovering from, say, lung surgery or managing COPD, or even just rebuilding strength after an injury, the structured controlled breathing offers a safe, guided way to rebuild lung capacity and regain functional strength. It can actively reduce the anxiety that often comes with exertion in those situations and ensures controlled, measured progress.
That's huge for recovery.
It really is. And finally, for just everyday fitness and wellness, the sheer simplicity of in on squeeze, out on expand means that even non-athletes can easily get these profound benefits of structured breathing without needing complex training or special knowledge. Even if you're just tackling a flight of stairs or enjoying a brisk walk uphill, this technique can transform your effort, make you feel less winded, more in control. It helps you enjoy your daily activities more fully, more comfortably. It really democratizes the ability to breathe better during any kind of exertion.
And there you have it, the IsoTone Asymmetric Breathing Technique, especially combined with the IsoTone device. It truly seems to offer a breakthrough in fitness training. It's a powerful testament to aligning the device's unique adaptive resistance with your body's own natural asymmetric breathing rhythms. Pretty amazing, really.
Exactly. What we see here are clear, tangible, and scientifically backed benefits. Enhanced efficiency in how you use oxygen, significantly increased endurance, allowing you to push your limits further, and remarkably faster recovery. And all delivered through a technique that's not only simple and intuitive, but also incredibly adaptable across every single phase of your workout.
So what does this deep dive really show us? And what does it mean for how you might approach your next workout? Imagine workouts that no longer end in that familiar feeling of just complete exhaustion, but instead, they leave you feeling strong, completely in control, and genuinely exhilarated. This exploration shows us that by consciously understanding and intentionally controlling your breath, you can fundamentally shift the entire paradigm of how you experience, how you engage with, and ultimately how you benefit from exercise. It's not just about moving your body, it's about mastering its most fundamental rhythm. Something to think about.